Okay. Okay, so these are the 3 vases that we're making. So I actually made this up quite quickly within a few minutes. Okay, so what we'll do today is we'll try to make a vase which is around this size. If we're going to 3D print, then we shouldn't make it too big. If not, it's going to take a long time to print. Okay, so let's start. If you guys have Fusion 360, I hope you guys have already launched it. So if you have already launched it, just give me a thumbs up, or if you need to download and install it, just let me know. Okay, so I see thumbs up. Okay, let's go into Fusion 360.
Hazuma, you okay? Have you downloaded Fusion?
It's okay, Hazuma, you can just observe, okay? Then next time you come to VB Stop, I can show you how it's done. Okay, so the first thing that you'll see in Fusion 360 is this interface, okay? So before we start, I just want to show you guys a couple of controls. Okay, the first control is actually the mouse button. So you can actually zoom in and out using your mouse wheel. Okay, and then on the left side, on the bottom left is actually, the left side is actually all these are all the properties of the document that you have. So we'll go into this later. And then on the top right, there's actually a navigation cube. Okay, so if you can see this small home button over here, suppose if you keep moving your screen like this, and if you want to go back to the home button, you just click on the home button over here. Then you'll go back to the default view. Okay. And then another cool function I want to show you guys is if you hold the shift button down, and if you press the middle mouse button, you can actually rotate your view like that. Or if you want, you can also use this button at the bottom here called orbit. Okay, over here. And you can actually rotate like that in case you want to look at your vases from different angles. Okay. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, right, is actually to create a sketch. Okay, so let me just toggle back to the slide for a moment. Okay, we'll go to sketching. Okay, so what the first thing we'll do is to actually create a sketch. Okay, a sketch is actually like a drawing. Okay, so what we'll be doing today is to sketch a simple outline of a vase, and then we'll use this simple function called Revolve. Okay, so this is what Revolve does. If you look at the picture over here, there's actually a very simple outline of this shape that we drew, and then when we revolved it around an axis, it becomes a solid shape like this. Okay, and then the cool thing is that you can actually change the shape of the vase. Then every time you change it, you have a different design. Okay, I'll just show you guys how we do it. Okay, the first thing to do when you are sketching, right, is to always go to the front view. So what I'll do is I'll actually click on this front button over here. Okay, so to go to the front view, just highlight this cube over here and just press front. So you should be in this front view. Okay, then the next thing I'll do is to create a sketch. So on the top left, there's this sketch button here, the one with a simple, the one with a blue, and the one with a green cross. So when I click on create sketch, you see there's this yellow square that appears. So this is for me to know where I'm sketching where I'm placing my sketch on. Okay, so since I'm in the front view, I'm just going to be placing it. I just click on the square, and then I'll be sketching on the front view like this. Okay. Okay, so once I'm in this view already, I'm ready to start doing my sketch. Okay, if you guys are ready at this stage, just let me know. If not, I'll give you guys some time. Or if you want me to repeat the steps again, I can do so. Okay, so remember, go to the front view. Okay, click on home, go to the front view. Front view, click on this create sketch button, then click on the middle yellow square. Okay, then you should be in this view already. Okay, so once you're done, what I'll do is I'll actually create a line. Okay, so the important thing about using the revolve function is you have to actually make the shape, draw the shape on one side, either the right side or the left side. Okay, if you see there's actually like a green line in the middle, so that's actually the middle point of your sketch. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll actually I'll draw a simple line. Okay, so I'll click on this line button over here. So when I click on this line, you see that my cursor actually changes to this light blue cross. Okay, so once you see your cursor becomes like this, you can actually start to sketch already. Okay, so for now, what I'll do is I'll draw 3 straight lines. Okay, So what I'll do is I'll click on it, then I'll see there's this point that appears. Then I will go to the center like this, and then I'll draw one all the way down like this, click again, and then somewhere out here like this. So once I'm done with this, I just press the escape button. Okay, so now I have 3 lines, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, let me repeat that again. Click on this line button. Okay, just click on anywhere on the left or right of the sketch, and make sure your middle line is along the green line. Okay, like this. So once I'm done, I've drawn 3 straight lines. I just click escape. Okay. So if you're done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the outer part of the sketch, which is using the curve. So what I'll do is I'll select this thing called a fit point spline over here. Okay, when I click on this, right, I'm actually continuing my sketch. So what I'll do is I'll actually link the top part to the bottom part. But the cool thing about this fit point spline is that I can actually create as many number of points as I want, depending on what shape I actually want to create. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll actually click on this point over here, because I want to link the top part of the sketch to the bottom part of my sketch. So what I'll do is I'll highlight this point and I'll click here, and then I'll just click any number of points that I want. Okay, so I'm just randomly clicking. Okay, and then the last point, I'll actually link it to the bottom over here. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I actually move my cursor and highlight this small green tick over here, and I click on it. So this means my sketch is already drawn. Okay, so as you can see, I've created like a few different points here. So you don't actually need to follow this shape that I'm drawing. Okay, so you can go ahead and create any number of points that you want. If you want to create only 3 points like this, it's also fine. Okay, if you want to undo, you can just click on this button over here to undo. Okay. Okay, if I want to draw a simple sketch, I can just draw 3 points like that. Okay, I just click close. Sorry. Let me just control this. Okay, so once I'm done with this, I'll click on this button on the right hand side here that says finish sketch. Okay. If you see there's this button here called finish sketch, once I click on it, my sketch is done.
Kenneth,
yeah.
I have a question. So what if I want to make the height, right, of this vase like 100 mm, which is 10 cm?
Okay, 100 mm, right? Give me a minute now. Okay, there's this thing here called sketch dimension. Let me find that.
I think is it under inspect? No, wait, I don't know.
No. Okay, this one I'm not really sure. I need to go and find out more.
When you draw the line, you can select L to draw the line, and then when you draw the line, just one line, like when you just draw, right, there'll be numbers that come out. So then you can just type in your number. So if you want to change the height, I think you can do that, as in like you just measure when you draw the line. Or if I'm not wrong, when you select the line, you can change the dimensions. You can type in the dimensions.
I think the shortcut is D. So you click on the line, then press D. D for dimension.
I'm not really sure if it works.
Yeah, as in the dimension comes up.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
This 55. Yeah.
Then you can change it at any time. So if you can change it to like 60, 70, and that's the nice thing about Fusion.
Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do now is to actually play around with the outer shape of this. So you can actually, once you draw a curve, you can actually do this. Okay. Okay, so once I'm done with this, the next thing I'll do is when I click finish sketch, okay, then I'll go to create, and then I'll select the revolve function. Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll select profile, and select the axis. Okay. And my vase is more or less 90% done. Okay. Okay, then the cool thing about Fusion is also you are able to sort of edit your sketch even if you are done with this. So what we can do is we can right click on this and edit sketch. And then click finish sketch, and then the shape does updates accordingly. So that's the cool thing about Fusion 360. You can just always right click on it and edit. So every time you do this, you have a different design. Okay, click finish sketch, done. Okay, if you guys need to know how to do the revolve function, I can show you guys again. Okay, so once you already have this sketch, you click on finish sketch. Okay, you go to this function here called create. Okay. Okay, go to create. Okay, create revolve. This and click OK. Okay, if you guys have any questions, just raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask. Okay. And then the cool thing is that you can actually edit the sketch like that, and then you update in real time. Okay, so what I'll do now is, okay, so once I'm happy with this shape that I have for my vase, the next thing I'll probably do is to add a shell to it so that it becomes hollow. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll click on modify and select the shell function. Okay, and give it a 0.5 mm thickness. Okay, so this is how my vase looks like. And my vase, my simple vase is complete. Okay, so all this is actually done within like, I don't know, less than 15 minutes. Okay, and then the cool thing is that you can actually keep editing your sketch again, and then you have another design. Then you have another vase like that. Okay, or if you want, you can make it, you know, like this, and click finish sketch. Then you have another vase. Okay. And if you want the vase to be thicker, you can always right click on this, click edit feature, and maybe give it a 1 mm thickness or maybe a 4 mm thickness if you want.
Kenneth, is there a recommended thickness?
0.5 is the best
Okay.
if you're going to 3D print. Of course, if you make it thicker, then it becomes more sturdier. But then it would mean that your printing time will be longer because you have to print the thickness. Okay, so this is how we actually use Sketch and Revolve to actually create our simple vase. Okay. Okay, so the important rule to actually remember when you're creating a vase using this function is to actually make sure the top and the bottom of the vase is actually perfectly parallel to the plane, meaning they need to be perfectly straight. Okay, if not, the revolve function won't actually work very well. So these three lines need to be actually perfectly straight. And then for the side profile, you can actually create any number of curves if you want, basically. Okay. Okay, so if you guys are done, maybe you can move on to the next function, or if not, you guys can actually play around with this function again. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll create maybe a more complex shape. Sketch again. 8, 9. And then maybe make something that's more interesting. So I'll have more lines. Okay. And then I go to Revolve. So now I have a very weird looking shape like this. Okay. And then as usual, the coolest thing you can do is you can edit the sketch and just play around with the shape. Okay.
But Kenneth, for 3D printing, right?
Yeah.
If there's a lot of overhanging, it's quite hard to print, right? So when creating this profile, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, try not to have overextended like that. Yeah, but if you're printing in vase mode, right? Usually overhang is fine. Because there's a minimal thickness.
Oh, so if it kind of goes like very, very wavy and...
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Because you're printing with a thickness. So usually when you're printing vases, right, you actually print at a slower speed. So you don't usually print at 100%. When I print vases, I print at 70-80% speed. So when I print at that, I when physically tune on the printer, like put the speed to 80%. So that it won't have any errors now. Okay, so if you want to make the thing like that, right, it's also fine.
But it basically it still has to go sideways, right?
Yeah,
like it cannot go like up and down.
Yeah. Correct.
Nico and Ayana, have you tried 3D printing before?
Yeah, you should try.
Yeah, then maybe you can share with them a bit about like how 3D printing works and like what are the constraints when it comes to 3D printing.
Okay, the constraints of 3D printing is actually quite a lot. It really depends on what you're trying to make and what you're trying to print. Okay, usually when we print, right, we try to print without support. So support actually increases your print time and waste material. So to minimize that kind of problems, right, what we do is we try to either create something that has minimal overhangs, or we print them as separate parts and then join them together, so that we minimize the chances of the print failing, especially when you're printing something very big. Okay, like for this instance, right, if I want to print this vase, right, what I'll do is I'll actually try to print at a slower speed. Okay. Okay, so the cool thing about Fusion 360, right, is there's this thing called section analysis. Okay, so when I click on it, right, I can actually simulate how the thing will look like when it's printed, like that. Okay. So this actually will let me know whether or not my model is fully hollow.
It's not showing the section analysis.
Yeah, I think maybe it's
I think maybe
lagging.
you stop dragging it. You let it.
Okay, wait, let me try. Okay, can you see now?
I think maybe you drag and stop.
Okay.
Okay, now can see. When you stop, then can see.
Okay. Like that.
Nico and Yana, do you know what's overhang?
Okay. It's a bit hard to explain without a physical example.
Do you have an object there? A vase there?
Oh, my boss, I bring to baby stop, right?
I printed something like a vase, but like a bucket lah, basically.
Okay.
I show you on the screen. So it's basically a bucket. Wait, let me pull out the thing. Yeah, can you all see this?
Yep.
And then this is basically a very simple kind of like a bucket thing. I was trying to create like a, I don't know, something that can fit together. But anyway, so the thing is, how 3D printing works is it will build up. So it will print the first layer, then the second layer, then the third layer, and the fourth layer, etc. Then it will slowly go up. So if let's say at the third layer, you suddenly have something that's, so let's say at the third layer, you suddenly have something that's hanging over here. Then your design comes out like here. This is called overhanging, means there's nothing below this thing to support. Then it will kind of fall to the ground, like fall to the bed. So it cannot print properly. So when you design, it has to go upwards. And if you want something that goes out, it has to go out slowly, like gradually. Understand?
Okay, so the best thing is to keep it at 45 degrees. Anything more than 45, you probably need overhang. Okay, that's the general rule of thumb. But of course, every design varies and every printer is different. So we have to actually play around and experiment when we are doing 3D printing. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we are done with our first function.
Yeah, Kenneth, before we move on, maybe the people who are on Fusion 360 can just show what they've made. I know it's a bit hard for Ayana and Nico to show because they can't share screen.
Maybe you guys can turn your laptop and then face the camera.
Yeah. Then maybe Junkang, Zuru all can show, so then you can see.
I don't know what, Zuru, you're muted.
Oh yeah, sorry. I can. Okay, I share screen first.
Mini presentation. For each one.
Kenna, maybe you can stop sharing for a while.
Can. I enable share screen for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys can do it one. This is like not even what you all learn in school also.
We don't use Fusion though. Can you all see?
Oh,
yeah, can.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe I will change it because it looks a bit fat and a bit big right now. But yeah, so I did something like this. Maybe I'll change it later. Then my profile is like this. Yeah, this is how my profile looks like. Yeah.
Cool.
It would be cool if we can actually get a ceramic 3D printer in the space and then we can print all these.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
My turn.
Okay, Chungkang.
Oh, Chingkang, you play guitar also?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guitar at the back.
Oh, loud, steady, you guys.
Okay,
so
yeah, mine is a very simple like flower vase.
Wow.
Yeah. You good you.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so like how it looks like is because I use dark mode, so I just want to show from here.
Well, you guys got the education license.
Yeah, SP provide.
Very good.
Why I cannot press? Oh, need press edit.
No, right click. You right click and edit sketch.
But it doesn't allow me to do it. Okay.
Yeah, steady. You guys can conduct the next workshop. We can multiply ourselves.
Yeah, so here's how it draws, like just like that.
Yeah.
So there's this the 3 lines, right? So then it's like what the first point, second point, third point, then after that then There's a spline. Yeah, it's just like that. Oh.
Yeah, like that one. It's really just like that one.
Yep, basically just like that.
Yeah, the cool thing is if we can use the emboss function later to sort of give it a nice surface, right? Then it can actually be very cool. But
The emboss.
that one we will try later. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Ayana, Raniku, do you want to show or you guys are still working on it?
Yeah, do you all have your models?
Model? No?
And sure.
Do you wait? So far, do you all have any questions?
If you want me to repeat the whole process again, it's fine, okay? I always start from scratch and do again. We have a lot of time. Or you guys need time to figure it out on your own.
If you have questions, you can either unmute the phone or the laptop that you're using, or you can type it in the chat. Okay, there's a chat function also. Because cannot hear.
Yeah, don't be shy, okay? There's only the two of you and all of us are BB Stop staff. Okay, you can ask us anything. Or if you have any questions as to how you want to make a different shape or what, you can just ask us, okay?
Wait, first, do you all have Fusion 360 open?
Yeah, at the start they said they had. You guys
Yeah,
have
we have.
Fusion, right? Okay.
Were you all able to draw the lines for that? Were you all able to draw the lines? And then revolve?
Oh,
Okay,
cannot.
maybe can we see your sketch first? Can we see how your profile curve looks like?
Oh, me,
No, I think Ayana.
okay.
Yeah, maybe you can turn your laptop around and face the camera or hold the phone up.
Or
to
bring the
show
phone
us.
to the camera or camera to the
Yeah.
phone, whichever is.
Yeah, whichever is easier for you.
And if I printed
Wow.
Good.
sometime more.
Your printer is blessed already.
Yeah.
Everything you print from now on will not fail. Actually, it's true, I actually did like, there was once I borrowed a printer from my friend, and then the first thing I printed, I didn't print the cat. Then it really jinxed up my print.
Oh, really?
Either the nozzle clog or the thing like didn't stick properly to the bed. Then I told my friend, say, see, I told you, right? I said, okay, I think I better print the top side more first.
Ayana, maybe you could show the laptop.
I think she's figuring how to flip the screen.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
oh,
Wow, that seems to be.
I think she didn't use the spline.
Okay,
I think she used the normal line to draw instead.
normal line also can actually, but it just
But it won't have the
very
curve,
bulky. Yeah, won't have a nice curve.
Kenna, maybe you show her again where the spline.
Okay, no problem.
Ayana, actually, do you want to use a laptop or something? Because if you are seeing on a phone, right, it might be a bit small.
Okay, don't worry, okay, I will repeat the steps again from scratch. Okay, first thing we do, go to the front view again. Okay, click on create sketch, click on the yellow square, draw 3 straight lines. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then press the escape button. And then click on the fit point spline so that we can actually draw nice curves. And then click on finish sketch, then go to create, select the revolve function, select the profile, select the axis, and voila, done. Okay. Or you can also revolve it around a different axis if you want. And it becomes like that. Okay. And then create, revolve, click on the center line, and then okay. Okay, maybe let me try to sketch the side profile with straight lines and see how it looks like. Oops. This. Yeah, also can. Just looks very blocky. And let's put a
I am
shell.
not trying to log in from a different device or something.
Is it?
Like, as in, no, I'm just thinking if she's using a phone, then the screen is quite small. I don't know whether she can see.
Yeah, if she's using a phone, then it'll be a bit small to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just realized she's watching this on the phone.
I don't know whether it's a phone or tablet or something. Ayana, are you still there? Like maybe you want to let us know whether you're changing devices or something?
Yeah, I'm trying to change it on my laptop.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
We'll wait for you, okay?
No rush, no rush.
Yeah, no rush.
Or you
Divita
can
has
use
more-
it on Araniko's laptop since he is distracted.
Yeah, no rush, no rush. Vivista Orchard doesn't have deadlines. Deadlines don't apply to kids, only applies to us. It's how you get the education license from school, is it?
Oh, I signed in through my school account,
Oh,
my school email account.
it's very good. It's like permanent one. The education
Oh, is it?
license. Yeah.
I thought it's
My one
only
don't-
until we, I don't know, we graduate or something.
No, my one is like, because last time I was doing freelance teaching, right? Then when I teach in the school, right, they actually installed for me the license. So it's like up to now still valid. It's like
Oh, maybe they just don't withdraw the license.
never withdraw. It's like almost 7 years already.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, no. Let me sketch a nice one.
Yeah, but for this is like I really have to sign in through my school account. I cannot use other accounts.
Oh,
I think it's the same for I think probably all Autodesk softwares.
okay lah. We got the free license from Autodesk in the space.
But we only have a few, right?
I asked for four license for Fusion 360, and then like I got other software also like the AutoCAD, Inventor, all those things.
Yeah, I think in the space, I'm not sure why sometimes Fusion gets signed up.
Yeah, it's because the account the kids use like the same account. No?
Yeah, a bit strange.
Yeah, that's the only problem with Autodesk accounts for Fusion 360. Other than that, the other softwares they don't actually need the login as well. And it's because of the
Okay.
cloud thingy.
And Ayana, you managed to connect?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Great. Okay, another cool thing I want to show you guys, right? Once you actually revolve it, you can actually and then once you shell it, right? Okay, when you're shelling, right, remember to only select the top face, okay?
Wait, sorry, I think maybe you can show Ayana again.
Okay,
The drawing of the lines and the revolving. Yeah, because I think she may have missed that part just now.
okay, Ayana, let's start from scratch. Let's go all the way back. Okay, remember, click on the front view. Click on the create sketch button over here. Okay, click on the yellow square. Okay, and then select the line over here. Okay, when you select the line, you see your cursor becomes this light blue square. Okay, and then just draw 3 straight lines. Okay, I'm just going to draw roughly 3 straight lines and make sure the line, the middle line is actually along the green line that you see over here. Okay, like this. And then once I'm done, I press the escape button. Okay, so I'll just start with these 3 straight lines first. Okay, then once I'm done with this, I'll start to create the nice curved profile on the side. Okay, Ayana, if you have gotten to this stage, just let me know, okay? Or I can just repeat the steps again. Click on line, one line, draw one line on the top, the middle line, and the bottom line. Okay, and then press the escape button. Once I've done my 3 lines. Ayana, are you there? Have you got it? Any questions? Just unmute yourself or type in the chat. If you're okay, just give you a thumbs up, then I can show you the next step.
Ayana, are you there?
Ayana, it's fine. You can remain unmuted. Yeah.
Ayana, you want to know how you're doing? Okay, not okay? Anything?
Okay, I'm just, yeah, I'm just waiting.
Do you need us to repeat any instructions?
When I'm doing the like 3 first lines, do they have to be like the same height or?
No, they don't need to be the same height. Okay, we see the sketch that I drew, right? The top line is actually shorter than the bottom line. But it's really up to you, okay? You can have all lines the same, or you can have the top line longer than the bottom line. It's totally fine. Okay, like this is fine as well. Okay, you don't have to worry about whether or not the top or bottom lines are long or short, because once we sketch the other side profile, you can actually change the lengths of the top and the bottom. Okay, so that's the good thing about Vision 360. Nothing you draw is actually final until you decide it to be final. Okay, so you can always keep changing your sketch and your design whenever you feel like it. Okay, so suppose I already started drawing this sketch like this. I can actually make the top shorter. if you can see on my screen here, I'm actually making the top shorter. So initially I drew it as a long line, but now I decided to change it. I can actually make it shorter, and I can also make the bottom one longer if I want to. Okay, so it really doesn't matter if it's long or short. If you want to make both the same height, same length is also fine. So yeah, don't be too worried about the lengths, okay, because you can always change them if you feel like it. Okay. Everything okay? Ayana?
She just asked in the chat,
Okay.
which tool do I use for the curve?
Okay, now let me show you again, okay? So remember when you drew a sketch of the first 3 straight lines, right? If you want to draw a nice curve, you actually use the other tool called the Point Spline. Okay, wait, let me undo. Okay, you see there's this line over here that's called Point Spline over here, the one with the nice curve over there. So once you click on that, then you need to connect, make sure the starting point of this spline is actually connected to the top, and then the end point is actually at the bottom over here, okay? So the next thing you need to do is actually to click any number of points, okay? So it doesn't really matter if you click like 5 times or 6 times. So right now I'm just clicking any number of times so that I can actually have more control points for me to control the shape of my pass. Okay, so once I link the top part and the bottom part of it, I click on this tick over here. Okay, and then I click on finish sketch. Okay, so now I have this nice spline that is actually one whole shape like that. And then the cool thing is you can actually move these points around to form the shape that you want. Okay, so you can have weird shapes like this. And then you revolve it. With something unique like that. Okay. Because the more points you can, if you have more points, you can actually have more control over it. Okay, is it clear, Ayana? Do you want me to repeat again and show you where it is?
Yeah, could you repeat it again?
Okay. Okay, so once we are done with this, the next thing we'll do is we'll actually use a function called shell. Okay, shell you can see is actually over here. It's this thing that looks like a hollow cube. Okay, so when we make a shell, we're actually hollowing out this print so that when we print it, it's actually a vase. Right now, if we print it, it's actually a whole solid piece. So when we create a shell, what we need to do is just select the top face over here. Okay, so when we select it, it turns blue in the color. And then you see there's this dialog box that appears. So you just need to give it a number. Okay, So for 3D printing, what we usually do is we give it a thickness of 0.5 mm. So it's just type 0.5 and just tap enter. Okay, so now you can see that your vase is more or less done. It's hollow all the way through. Okay.
Okay, sorry, wait. Ayana, are you able to get the curve, the profile? You can unmute yourself or type in the chat.
Can you repeat that? I couldn't really hear anything.
Okay, what were you saying?
Which part would you like Kenneth to repeat?
No, can you just like repeat what you said because I couldn't really hear anything.
Really hear
Ayana, which part are you at?
Are you able to get a curve?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, maybe you're at the revolve, the part where you need to do the revolve, right? So you have drawn the 3 lines and you've already drawn the curve already, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is to revolve it. Okay, so revolve is actually located here. If you see this create button on the top left over here, you click on it and then select this function here called revolve. Or if you have the same UI as me, you can actually click on this button over here called revolve. Okay, so when you click on it, you will see that the revolve dialog actually appears. So when this thing appears, what you need to do is to select the profile. Okay, so when I click on select profile over here, then I'll highlight my mouse and select this entire blue thing over here that you're seeing. Okay, so I've selected my profile already. Okay, if you're able to get to this step, just let me know. Okay, I'll just repeat again. Click on revolve. Okay, click on profile over here and then select this profile. Okay. How do you know if your profile is selected? You can see that it's actually showing, it shows here one selected. Okay, so once you have selected this, the next thing you need to do is to select the axis. Okay, so the axis is actually the middle line. So when I click on axis, I'm actually selecting the middle line over here. Okay, so when I don't know if you can see, but if I zoom in, you can see that if I move my mouse over, it's actually highlighting it. Okay, so when I highlight it, my vase is revolved around the center axis. Okay, then once I've seen this, I just click on the OK button over here. And then I should be able to get this shape already. Okay. Let me just show you guys the steps again. Click on revolve. Okay. Click on profile over here. Select the profile. So when you move the mouse over, this entire thing is selected. Okay. And then select the axis, and then select the middle line over here. And then click on OK, and you're done. Okay. So if you are able to get to this step, just give a shout out if you have any other issues. Or if you need me to repeat again, I can repeat again.
Hi Ayana, are you able to follow?
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
Okay, so once you actually revolve it already, the next thing we need to do is to give it a thickness. Okay, so how we do that? Okay, go to the, click on the home button, okay, and then go to this perspective view so that you can actually select the top part of the vase. Okay, then we go to this tab here called tools, okay, and select this function here called shell. Okay, the one that looks like a hollow cube. So once you click on it, and then just move your mouse and select the top face, okay, like what I'm doing right now. So when I'm selecting it, it should turn blue, okay? And when it turns blue, you see there's this small little text box that appears here. So that's actually for me to decide my thickness. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the best diameter to use, is the best thickness size to use is actually 0.5 mm. Okay, so let's type 0.5 and press enter. Okay, you can always change it if you're not happy with it. Okay, so if I want it to be thicker, I can give it a 3 mm. Or if I want it to be even thicker, I can give it a 7 mm. Okay, or 70 as well. Oh, sorry. Maybe. Okay, so as you can see, my vase now is quite big. Okay. So yeah, once I'm done with this, my vase is more or less done already. Okay, if you're able to get to this step, just let us know. Okay, let me just repeat again. So go to the, click on the home button and go to the perspective view so that you can actually select the top part of the vase. Click on the shell function over here, and then click the top face. Highlight and select the top face, and then enter 0.5 mm in the dialog box and press enter. Okay, so now you have your vase. It's perfectly hollow. Okay. So the next step is actually to export this so that we can actually print it. Okay, and that part is actually quite straightforward. I can actually show you guys how to do it over here. So if you look at the left-hand side here, there's this thing here called bodies. Just click on this button over here and select the body. Okay, when you select the body, the whole thing is actually selected. Then when you right-click on it, there's this function here called Save as Mesh. So when you click Save as Mesh, you can actually save it as an STL file. Okay, you can actually select the refinement, how smooth you want it to be, or how jagged you want it to be. Okay, so it actually converts this into a mesh which has all the polygons and faces that you can actually use for 3D print. Okay, so that's how we actually export this for 3D print. Okay, Ayana, do you need me to repeat any of the steps? Or are you lost? Are you stuck anywhere?
I can't find the revolving button.
Okay, you can't find the revolve function. Okay. Let me share screen. Okay, the revolve function is actually located on the create. Do you have a create bar over here?
Yeah.
Okay, click on it and then look for the function here called revolve. Do you see it over there?
There isn't any on there.
There isn't any there. Who can that be?
Are you at solid?
Yeah,
You
are you
see
on the
the
solid?
yeah.
Or are you on the surface tab or mesh? Okay, make sure you're on the solid tab, okay?
Um,
Can you see where my mouse is? Do you see that I'm actually on the solid tab? Or are you on the surface or are you on mesh? Maybe you're on a different tab, that's why you can't find it.
yeah, I changed it to the solid one and then
Okay, then do you have this create button over here?
yeah.
Okay, then click on it, and then you should be able to see the revolve function over there.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you revolve it? You select the sketch again. Okay, go to sketch. On create, revolve, select the profile. Okay, make sure it shows one selected. Click on the axis, which is the middle line of the vase. And then you should have this. Okay, and then just click OK. Okay. Okay, so once you manage to get this, the last step we need to do is to shell it. Okay, so shell is still on the solid tab. Look for this thing here called modify. Okay, then select this button here called shell, and then select the top face of the vase and give it a thickness of 0.5, and then press enter. Okay, should be able to get something like that. Hey, Ayana, everything okay?
Do I hollow it after I revolve it?
Yes. Revolve it first and then hollow it. Because if you're not revolving around it, there's actually nothing to hollow out.
Ayana, have you done the revolve step?
Yeah.
Great, great. Okay, last step is just to shell it.
What do I do once I've shelled it?
Once you shell it, you're done already.
You're done.
You're done, man. Your
Good
vase
job.
is done. You can save it for print.
Ayana, are you able to show us your vase, Ayana? If you can share screen.
Yeah, do you want to share screen?
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Ayana, maybe you can change the view.
Yeah, click on the home button on the top right. Yeah, do you see a small home icon there? Yeah, oh, that's nice.
Wow, good job, Ayana. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Ayana, you see at the cube, the top left corner, there's a home. Go back to the cube on the right.
And on the top
On your right.
top
On
right,
your
top
right,
right.
the view.
Slightly
The one that
lower,
says
slightly
front.
lower.
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 No, too low already.
The one that says front. You see the ZX front? Yeah, you see the
Yeah.
home button?
You see the small home icon? Yeah, click on
Yeah,
that.
that
Okay.
one, that one. Oh,
Yeah, nice.
looks very good.
Okay, remember to save your work, okay, Ayana?
Me can teach you how to
Okay.
save.
Okay, let me show you guys how to save. Okay, I don't actually recommend saving. What I do is usually I export because saving actually saves it to the cloud account, which takes a long time to load sometimes. Okay, so if I click on this button over here, okay, Ayana, if you look at the screen over here, there's this button here called save. So usually I don't use the save function. I use this function here called export. Okay, so when I click on export, right, I can actually save this Fusion 360 file as a F3D file to my local drive. So whenever I want to access this file, I don't actually have to log in to the cloud every time and wait for it to actually download from the cloud. So it's actually faster that way. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll actually type this, give it a name, call it test vase. Okay, and then I click on export. Okay, so right now my file is actually saved on my desktop already. Over here, test vase. Okay, so if I click on save, I can show you guys what happens if I click on save. It actually uploads to the cloud, which sometimes takes a long time to load, and sometimes there are cloud servers on maintenance. I can't actually access my file if they're doing maintenance. Then I can't actually access my file if they're doing that. So I usually try not to save to the cloud if I need to. Okay, so these are some of the files which I saved to the cloud last time. So if I want to access my file again, I can always click on it and then just double click and look for it. Okay. So if I export my file as a F3D file, what I'll do is when I come back to Fusion 360, I can always open up the file, open from my computer over here, and then open it from my drive and open it up again. Yeah. That way I don't have to always wait for it to download from the cloud. Okay, Ayana, if you want to save it to the cloud, it's also fine, okay? The files won't get deleted, don't worry. It's just that sometimes when they're doing maintenance, you can't actually access your file if you want to work on it. So exporting it is more of like a safer bet for me. Okay, because I've experienced that before when I save it to the cloud, it happens to be on maintenance and I can't work on it for about 2 or 3 days. So that kind of delays everything. Okay, Ayana, if you're done, you can save it. Then we'll move on to the next function, which is a bit more complex, but the results are, I think, more cooler than the Revolve one, the Revolve function. Okay, Ayana, if you're ready, I'll just show you the next method of making a vase. Okay, so the next method that I'll be showing you is actually called the loft function, LOFT. So loft is actually creating a vase and creating a shape of a vase using different shapes, okay, different sketch objects. Okay, so the steps are actually quite straightforward as well. So the same methods apply. So you actually need to just create a sketch, and then you can create another sketch on another plane, and you just loft the two sketch objects together. Okay, so what that means is that I can transition my vase from a star-shaped base to a circular top. Okay, and the results are actually quite cool. Okay, so what I'll do, right, Ayana, is remember in the first, when we were doing a sketch for the Revolve, for using the Revolve function, we actually go to the front view. Okay, but for creating a vase that's using the loft function, we actually go to the perspective view because we want to sketch the bottom part of the vase on the ground over here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll click on the same function again, create sketch. Okay, but this time around I'll be selecting the yellow grid, which is the yellow square, which is the ground. Okay, so when I click on it, I'm selecting the ground. This is where I'm actually drawing my sketch on. Okay, so for this loft vase that I'm doing, what I'll do is I'll create a very simple one. I will have the base of my vase as a circular shape and the top part of my vase as a square shape. Okay, so what I'll need to do is I'll need to create just two shapes, sketch two shapes. Okay, so right now I'll just create a circle. So I'll use this center diameter circle over here. And I start from the center and I drag this thing out. Okay, so for this vase that I'm creating, I want my bottom base to be about 60. No, sorry. This is a bit too big. maybe around 6. Okay, maybe around 60 mm, which is about 6 cm. Okay, so when I'm done with this, I click on Finish Sketch. So I've created the bottom part of my vase. Okay, so let's try to create that first. Okay, so this is actually the bottom of my vase. Okay, the next thing I will need to do is I will need to create another sketch which is for the top part of my vase. Okay, so in order for loft to actually work, right, you need to actually draw 2 different shapes. You can't draw like similar shapes for the bottom of the vase and the top of the vase. Then that will just be a very straight vase. Okay, so what I'll do right now is actually I want to create another shape which is the top part of my vase. In order for me to do that, I need to create something called an offset plane. Meaning I'll be sketching another shape directly above this sketch that I've just drawn. Okay, so in order for me to do that, I will need to use this function here called offset plane. Okay, so offset plane is actually found under construct. Okay, if you click on construct, there's this thing here called offset plane. Okay, so when I create an offset plane, it actually means that I'm actually drawing on another plane, which is like another piece of paper. So imagine I'm drawing this on the bottom piece of paper. So right now I'm creating another piece of paper which I'm drawing the top part of my vase onto. Okay, so for me to do that, what I'll do is I'll actually select this sketch that I drew over here. So
Sorry, wait a while.
Yeah.
Ayana, have you drawn the circle?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Are you able to find where the circle is?
Okay, make sure you are in solid as well. Make sure you're in sketch, okay? Okay, click on create sketch and then select this square over here. Okay, the one that is on the extreme right. So click on it and then you should be drawing on this plane already.
Yeah, so this plane, right, it has a green and red line. Are you on that plane?
No.
Okay, you go to create sketch.
Yeah.
Okay, then do you see a lot of grids there?
Okay, when you click on create sketch, right, Ariana, do you see like these 3 yellow squares that appear?
You see the one with the green and red line, the flat one. So you see this current one on the screen is blue and red, right? Then the one that we want to choose is with like green and red.
Okay, which is the one on the right over here. Okay, you can see if I don't select it, there's actually 3 yellow squares, okay? So I'm selecting the one at the bottom, which is over here. Okay, so when I click on it, just click on it to select it, okay? Then I should be on this plane over here, which is the green and red. Okay, are you able to get to this stage?
Could you show me how to get the lines again?
Line, okay. Just click on create sketch, okay? Click on it. The moment you click on it, you will see these 3 yellow squares appear. Okay, so if you move your mouse over, right, you can see that it's actually selecting 3 different dimensions. Okay, the one that we want to select is actually the one on the bottom over here. Okay, so there's actually 1, 2, and 3. So select the third one that you see over here. Just move your mouse over it and just click on it. Okay.
Can you find create sketch?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you able to select the bottom plane?
I think I clicked on the wrong one.
Oh, okay. If you click on the wrong round, just click on undo, okay? There's this undo create sketch over here. Just click on it again.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so just go to create sketch. Select bottom. Okay. Yeah, Yana, are you able to get to this stage?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing we'll do is to create a circle, okay? So just click on this create button over here and highlight the circle, okay? You see that there are quite a few options when you move your cursor on the circle. But what we'll do is we'll actually create a center diameter circle, okay? So can you see that I'm selecting this center diameter circle over here?
Yeah.
Okay, so click on it, okay? And make sure you move your cursor to the exact center over here, the exact center dot of this entire thing, okay? So once I move my cursor over there, I'll just click once and I'll just drag it out, okay? So you have to decide how big you want this bottom base to be. So if I want it to be 40, like 40 mm, which is about 4 cm, I just enter 40. Okay, if I want it to be 80, I'll just type 80. If I want it to be 60, I'll just type 60. Okay, but for me, I want it to be 40. So when I type 40, I just press enter. Then my circle is actually drawn already. Okay, so don't worry about the size. Okay, you can always change it later once we move ahead. Okay, as I mentioned before, in Fusion 360, you can always edit all the dimensions if you're not happy with it, even though you have made a lot of progress with your model. Okay. So once I've done this sketch over here, the bottom part of my vase is done already. Okay. So Ayana, have you drawn your circle already?
Yes.
Okay. The next thing we need to do, right, is to click on this button here called Finish Sketch. Okay. So just click Finish Sketch, and then your circle is more or less ready. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is to draw the top part of the vase. Okay, like I mentioned to you before, the top part of the vase shouldn't be the same shape. If not, your vase is just going to be vertically straight, which is quite boring. Okay, so what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to actually sketch another shape, which is the top of my vase. In order for me to do that, I need to create something called an offset plane. So what that means is that I'm taking another piece of paper and drawing it and putting it on top of this circle. Okay, so how I'll do that is I'll create something called an offset plane. So if you look at the screen over here, if you look at this construct button over here, okay, when I click on it, there's this thing here called an offset plane button. Okay, so what I'll do right before I select that, I will actually need to highlight my circle. So I just move my mouse over this circle and select it. Okay, when I click on it, it should turn dark blue like this. Okay, so when I click on it, it turns dark blue. Then I go to construct and select offset plane. So when I click on select offset plane, you see that there's this yellow grid that appears, and there's this arrow that shows how high it is supposed to be. Okay, so if you're able to get to this step, just let me know if it's okay. Then I can show you what's the next step. Okay, I'll just repeat again. Before you select the offset plane, click on your circle, go to construct, okay, select offset plane. Okay, and you should be able to get this yellow grid appear. Okay, Ayana, if you're able to get this, let me know if you're able to get this.
I've got it.
Yeah, she got it.
She got it, right? Okay, then the next thing we need to do is to decide how high you want your vase to be. Okay, so that 0.00 mm is actually for me to decide how tall I want my vase to be. So if I want it to be 80 cm, I just type 80 cm. Okay, if I want it to be 8, I just type 8. Okay, so the values don't mean anything. Okay, you can always change it later. Okay, what I'll do is I'll zoom out now. Okay, And you see that this thing here, you see that this yellow grid actually is on top of this circle already. Okay, so when I enter 50, I just press enter. Okay, so when I click enter, I will see there's this yellow plane that's created on top of my circle.
By the way, Ayana, the dimensions in Fusion by default is in mm, okay? So like if we type 80, it's 80 mm, which is 8 cm.
Okay, I'm sure you guys learned it in school, right? 1 mm,
Yeah,
10 mm. How many mm is 1 cm?
but the height that I type in, does it include the whole base?
Okay, not really sure what you mean, but let me show you again.
Like
Can you repeat your question?
the height that I type
Mm-hmm.
in, is that the height that my vase will be?
Yes.
Yes.
So like for mine, I want it to be 6 cm. So I just type 60 and I press enter. Okay. So my vase will be about 6 cm. Okay. So once you have done this, the next step is to actually create a sketch on the higher plane. Okay. Okay, Ayana, are you done with this? You can always change the height later. Okay, don't worry about being so precise.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to actually draw a sketch onto this higher plane. Okay, so what we need to do is to move your mouse and select this plane on top over here. So when you select, click and highlight and select it, it will actually turn dark blue like this. Okay, so when I click on this plane over here, then the next thing I'll do is I need to create sketch. Okay, so when I click on create sketch right now, I'll actually go to the top view like this, and I will actually draw another shape which is not a circle. So what I'll try to do now is actually I will try to draw a square. Okay, so I actually use a 2-point rectangle to actually draw a square on the top of it. Okay, so I will place it at the center of the grid over here, and I'll draw a. So, click the wrong function. Okay, I'll actually draw a center rectangle. Okay, so I'll click on create. I'll actually draw a center rectangle. Okay, then I'll move my cursor to the exact center point again, and I'll draw a square, which is a perfect 20 by 20. Okay, so when I'm done with this, I just click and I click on finish sketch. Okay, so right now, if you follow the steps right, you should be able to get two shapes like this. So one at the top and one at the bottom. Okay, like this. Okay, remember, if you want to draw on the top plane, make sure you select the offset plane. Okay, make sure you select the offset plane that we drew just now. Okay, make sure you click on it and then create sketch. Okay, if you don't click on it and if you click on create sketch, you're actually drawing it on the bottom where the circle is. Okay, so when you click on this offset plane, it means you're telling Fusion that you're drawing on this plane and not on the bottom plane. Okay, so create sketch and then go to the top view. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll create a rectangle, which is a center point rectangle at the exact center. And for I'm not actually drawing a rectangle, I'm drawing a square, so it has to be exact on both sides. So it's going to be 20 by 20. And I type enter and I click finish sketch. Okay, so as you can see, top part of my sketch is top part of my vase is a square, and the bottom part is a circle. Okay.
Before I create the sketch, do I have to click offset plate?
Yes. Okay, you have if you have your offset plane, right? You should be able to see this yellow thing, right? Over here, okay? So once you have that offset plane, remember to click on it. Click on it. If you click on it, it will turn dark blue. Okay? Click on it, then click create sketch. Okay, you're actually telling Fusion that you want to draw on that plane. Okay? And once I'm done with that, I'll actually go to the top view over here, click on the top button, and go to create over here, select rectangle, and I click on center rectangle, okay? And move my cursor to the exact center point over here, and I'll draw a 20 by 20 square, okay? Good. Okay, and click finish sketch, okay? And then once I'm done, I click on the home button over here, go back to the home view. Okay. Okay, we are about 80% done with this already. Okay, so once we actually have two sketch objects over here, one at the top and one at the bottom, the next thing we'll do is to create a loft. Okay, so how we do that, we go to create and look for this thing here called loft. Okay, remember to be on you have to be on a solid tab as well, okay? Then you see there's this revolve function over here, but move down two functions and you see the loft function over here. Okay, when you click on loft, this thing should appear. Okay, the loft window here should appear. Then what we'll do is we'll highlight the top and highlight the bottom. Select the top and click once, select the bottom and click once, and then click OK. So now you have very simple shape like that. Okay. So you see the top is actually square, the bottom is actually circle. Okay. Let me just undo again. Okay, if you're able to get to this step, just let me know. So if you've drawn your sketch on the top and the bottom, you should be able to start to do your loft already. Okay. Okay, Ayana?
Okay.
Okay. So once you have done this, go to create, select the loft function. Okay, select the loft function. Then once you see this window appear, just click once on the top and click once on the bottom, and you will see that your vase is already done. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, if you're able to get to this stage right now, here's where the fun comes in. Okay, you see that there's these 4 white dots over here, and there's actually 4 white dots at the bottom over here. So there's actually 4 white dots on the square and 4 white dots on the bottom. Okay, so the cool thing about loft is that you can actually make this into a twisted looking vase. So how we'll do that is to actually select the point and just move it around. So you see, as you can see, if I move the control point, you see the shape of my vase actually changes. Okay, you can actually move this like that, and you can actually move it like this. Okay, so you can actually create a twisted looking vase simply just by rotating and moving the points like that. Okay, and then the cool thing is also you can move the one at the bottom as well, so you can have a different effect as well, like that. So you see, I'm actually making it more twisted just by rotating the points like that. Okay, so that's how people actually make like twisted vases using this simple function. Okay, so the more I twist, the more curves I get like that. Okay, so if I'm happy with this shape, what I'll do is I'll click on OK. So this is how my vase actually looks like, right? So this is how you can actually make simple twisted vases using the loft function. Okay, if you're not happy with this shape, what we can do is we can always edit the loft again. So if you look at the bottom left over here, the bottom here is actually your timeline, which is your history. Okay, what you can do is you can actually right click on this button over here and click on edit feature. Okay, if I click on edit feature right now, I can always change, I can change the shape again. And I can move it back to the original position as what it was before. Okay, I can move it back again. Something like that. Back to how it was. Everything back again. And now I have a different shape. Okay, and I click OK. This is my shape right now. Yeah, Ayana.
Okay.
Okay. So once I'm happy with this shape, then I have to use the same function again, which is the shell. Same for the revolve vase. What I'll do is I'll just select the top face, click on shell, and give it a thickness of 0.5. Okay. So now I have my vase. It's perfectly hollow all the way through. Okay. So this is how you actually make twisted looking vases using the loft function. Okay. Now the cool thing about the loft, right, is you can actually create more than one offset plane, meaning you can have 3 or 4 different layers. So you can have the base as a perfect circle, the middle part of the vase as a square, and the top part of the vase as maybe a star or a heart shape. Okay, so that's the cool thing about loft. The more planes you have, the more complex your vase will be. Okay, so maybe I'll create a new one just to show you the effect. Okay, so for this vase that I'm going to be making, I want my bottom to be a perfect circle. Okay, then I'll create an offset plane. So I want my vase to be 80 cm. So I'll give it 40 first. Okay, so on this plane, I'll actually draw a weird shape, maybe using spline. I'll give it a regular, a very rough, irregular shape like this. Okay, new sketch. Then the next thing I'll do is, next thing I'll do is then I create another offset plane from the second one onwards, which is 40. Okay, click on it, and I'll create another sketch on top, which is here. Okay. Sketch. Okay, so now I have 3 shapes, and I will loft the 3 of them together. Okay, so I'll just select 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now I've created a loft with 3 shapes. And then the cool thing is I can also keep editing it, and I can play around with the shape like this. Okay, I can move them around. So right now I've created a vase using 3 loft shapes. So I can make it look very, very complicated with 3 shapes. Okay. Twist them around. I can make this more curvier. It's really up to me, and it's really up to your design, okay? Okay, so I'm happy with this. Click on OK, and this is how my new vase looks like. Okay, as you can see, the shape, if you create a loft using 2 shapes, it looks quite simple, but if you create something that has 3 or more shapes, it tends to look more complex. Okay, so same thing as well. Once I'm happy with this, I click on the top face and I shell it. And this is my second loft vase. Okay, so this is how simple it is to create love vases. Okay, Ayana.
How would I change the height?
Okay, that's a very good question. Let me check. Okay, the first thing you need to do is actually to measure. Okay, so if you click on this inspect button over here, you can click on this thing here called measure, and then you can actually see how high your vase is. So mine is about 60.39 cm. Okay, so if you want to change the height, you guys know how to change the height? Sketch dimension.
I think I know. So you know the step where you offset the plane, you just edit that.
Edit sketch, right?
No, the one before, the step before.
Edit feature.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Ayana, what you can do, right, is you go to the bottom over here. Okay, do you see at the bottom here, there's this thing here called the offset plane button. So just right click on it and edit feature. So you see that your height here is now showing 60. So if you want it to be bigger or shorter, you can just change it. So if you want it to be shorter, I just type 40 and enter. Now my vase is shorter. Okay, if I want it to be higher, I just select the offset plane feature again, edit feature, and if I want to make it taller, 90, click enter, and now it's taller. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So just by simply changing these numbers, you can have different sizes. And you can like create different designs just using one function. Okay, I'm quite happy with this. I'm gonna save this, maybe print it later. Okay, Ayana, if you want, right, what you can do is you can actually save all your files that you have done, and I can print for you if you want. Okay, then when the stop opens, I can pass it to you, or you can come to the stop, and I'll show you how to slice and 3D print.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, right, it's really just playing around with the functions and seeing what kind of designs you can come up with. Okay, the beauty of this vase design is that there really isn't any right or wrong. Okay, or maybe what you can try is you can try creating a vase that has 3 loft profiles, like what I did over here. Okay, let me create another one. Okay, the thing about creating loft vases is that you need to be very precise with the shape that you want to create and how high you want it to be, because when you're using offset plane, you need to tell Fusion how high you want the next plane to be and how high you want the subsequent plane to be. Okay, so instead of creating a vase that is always circular at the bottom, I want to create something different. I want the bottom part of my vase to look like something that's irregular. Okay. Okay, I'll show you a very cool function in Sketch that allows you to actually mirror a design. So you can actually create like flower patterns. Okay. So if you go to the Sketch function once again, and you click on the bottom plane again, what I'll do is I'll actually draw a very simple curve line. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm drawing the curve like this. Okay, when I click on escape, oh sorry, once I draw this like this. Let me create a new one. Okay. Draw just 3 lines like that. Okay, and then I'll create a circular pattern out of it. Center point being here. Okay. Center point. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll actually create 5, 6 patterns like this. Okay, and then I can actually join them up like this. So I can create like a flower kind of a pattern from the bottom part of my vase. Okay. So this is how people actually make, complex looking vases. So this is the shape that I want. So I can actually move these points around and you see it looks like a star shape already. Okay. So this is a circular function. Okay. So I'll show you again. This is for you to actually create more complex shapes. So what I'll do is I'll create a fit point spline. Okay, I'll just roughly draw a point like that. Okay, I click on, then press escape. Click on these 3 lines, and then click on this green tick over here, and then move my cursor to create, and select this thing here called circular pattern. Okay, select this object that I want, and center point, I actually create the center point, which is here. And you see that there's this dialog box that appears here that says 3. So this is showing me that there's 3 copies of this sketch that I have from. Okay, so I can actually create any number of sketch that I want. Okay, so the more petals I have, the more curves I have, the more sides it has. Okay, so if I want it to be 5 or 6, I can just put 5. Let's type enter. Okay, and then the next step I need to do is actually move the lines together so that they're all connected. Okay, so the cool thing is that if you move one line, you can just move it and connect it to the other line like that. Okay, and you can actually move this in and out, and then it becomes like a flower petal vase. Okay, so once I'm done with this, I can simply extrude this as well if I don't want to loft it. I can just do this and just shell it. Yeah. This is how a simple flower container is done. Okay. So this is how you can actually create complex looking vases. What I'll do next is I can actually create offset plane. Okay. And then let me draw a circle. And then just loft these two together. Okay. So, yeah, so now I have a vase that has a flower base, flower-like base, and a top that's circular. Okay. Yeah, Yana, do you have any questions, or are you trying to explore?
Diana, do you want to show us what you have done?
Okay.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Wow, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Good job, Ayana.
Ayana, would you like to print that? Or would you prefer to print your previous, the first one that you did, or both?
Okay, we can print all of them. Print them all. Then we can display it in the space. We need more kids projects, more kids 3D printed projects. Right now, it's all Abel's vases.
I mean, she can bring it home also lah. We can print more of them.
Yeah. Okay, Ayana, remember I showed you, you can actually edit your vase. edit the feature of your vase. Okay, so like for example, right, if I have this one that I have here, I can actually save this as one vase and modify the loft and save it as another vase. Okay, like for example, I'm happy with this. I can actually select the body and save as mesh. Okay, so the format for saving is actually called STL. Okay, so I just click OK, and then I'll call it vase design 1. Okay, so this is vase design 1. So I want to change this into another one. So what I'll do is I'll actually edit a feature. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll change the shape a little. Just by moving the points around. Okay. And also maybe changing the height a little. Also changing the height a little. And now I have a different design. So I can actually save this as vase design 2. Okay. So now I have vase design 1 and vase design 2. So this is how quickly you can actually, change the shape of your vase and the height of your vase just using one file. Okay. So if I undo, I can actually, and that's my previous design. So this is how powerful Fusion 360 is. Simply just by changing a few functions, you can actually export multiple designs just from a single file. You don't actually have to create a new file unless you're actually creating a new design. Okay, so that's the cool thing about Fusion 360. Okay. So Ayana, which one do you think is more fun to use, the loft or the revolve?
The loft.
Yeah, loft more cooler, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you need to go, but there's actually one more function which I want to show you, which is the freeform function, which is personally my favorite. And it's really, really cool to work with because you have a lot of control over how you actually want the shape of your vase to be. Okay, right now, if you're using loft and if you notice, right, when we are using revolve and loft, right, you're actually constrained by the sketch objects that you actually draw. Meaning you can't actually change the shape of your vase unless you change the shape of your sketch. Okay, but for freeform, you can actually change it into any shape form that you want. Okay, I don't know if you have time, but I can roughly show you how freeform works. Okay, and freeform can actually make very, very nice curvy vases. If you notice, the loft and the revolve don't actually can't actually create much complex shapes. But for freeform, you can actually create quite complex shapes, okay? So I'll show you how freeform works. Okay, let me just close this. Okay, freeform is actually over here. You see there's this purple cube over here called create form. Okay, if you click on create form, click on the create form button, you will see there's this shape, these 3 shapes that appear over here. So you have a box, you have a cylinder, you have a plane, and you have a quad ball. Okay. So the thing about freeform is that you're actually working with a block of clay. I'm sure you have played with clay before. So clay, you can actually squeeze it, you can press it, you can push it, and you can form into any shape you want. So in Fusion 360, you can also do that using the freeform mode. Okay, so what I'll do right now is I'll create a very simple shape of a vase. Okay, I'll start with a simple spear over here, which is a ball. Okay, so I want it to be 80 cm. Okay, so now I have this block of clay over here. Okay, with this block of clay, I can actually manipulate the shape of it. So if I move my mouse over this spear, right, you can see that I can actually select 3 different parts of the spear. If I move my mouse over here, I'm selecting the face. Okay, if I click, I'm selecting the face. If I move over here, if I move on the line, I'm actually selecting the line. If I move over here, I'm actually selecting the point. Okay. So the nice thing about freeform is that I can actually click on any part of it and I can actually move it around like this. Okay. So you see it's exactly like clay. I can squish it like this. I can select this. I can move it out like that. Okay. Ian and Zuru, y'all got used freeform before? Never.
Not really. That's why I'm trying to. I want to see how you do this part. I'm not very good at freeform.
Okay, freeform is my favorite.
The weakest one.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, right, freeform is manipulating a block of clay. So if I want to make a vase, what I can do is I can actually select. Okay, if you notice, right, when I create this, when I select this shape, I can actually modify this shape in any way, shape, or form, basically. So if I click on this button here called Edit Form, then you see there's this transform mode that appears here. When I click on any of the faces, right, you'll see that it's quite complicated where there's like so many controls over here. So what I'll do is I'll actually, if I select translate over here, it means I'm actually translating only. If I'm selecting rotate, I can actually rotate the face like that. If I click on scale, I can actually scale this literally like that. Okay. So if I'm going to create a vase, what I can do is I hold shift, I select these 4 planes, and then I hold alternate. I can actually extend this part out. Okay. So right, I can create a organic looking vase. Okay, and then the other part is I can actually select the edges and basically rotate. Then it becomes like curvy. Something like that.
Oh.
Okay, then I can also like flatten the bottom if I want. Okay. Something like that, roughly. Okay. Suppose this is my shape already. Then once I'm done with this, I can click on finish form. Then it becomes a solid body already. But when I get to this stage, I can't actually edit it anymore. Yeah. So basically that's free form.
How do you add faces?
Okay, add faces is called subdivide. Go to modify, subdivide. I need to select which part you want to subdivide. If I select the whole thing, like that, then I click on subdivide, add more faces. More faces.
Oh.
Then for each individual face, you can actually do stuff with it. You can go crazy. You can like do this, you can move up and down. I don't know. If I want my vase to be weird, I can just do crazy stuff like that.
How do you change the, cause from my view, right, I don't see the mesh lines.
Mesh lines. Okay, you go to this thing here called viewport. Sorry, grid and snap. Sorry, display settings. Visual style, you select shaded with visible lines.
Oh.
If you click shaded, you will show like that.
Yeah, I think mine is shaded.
Yeah, you set shaded with visible edges. Yeah, that freeform is basically clay. You like clay, right? You can use this to. That's why I made my puzzles. I use this function to make all the donut and everything.
Oh.
Okay, see the donut, right? I create a new one. Right? Super easy to make. I think you can also create torus.
Yeah.
Yeah, donut now.
Oh.
Donut puzzle. Then then what I do is I subdivide the entire thing.
But in terms of printing, right, is it difficult to print freeform stuff?
No, all I print, all the stuff I'm printing now, all freeform. You see this one? I don't know if you can see. This is freeform.
And then it's free form lah, but the base is still like quite flat, right?
Yeah, the base is flat. Okay, then I show you how I make the thing. I just select this entire thing, then I subdivide. Subdivide the entire thing. Why can't I select thing? Something like that. Something like that. Okay. Then for the cream part, right, what I do is I extrude this part out. Then it's really just playing with clay. Just a rough example. For example, like that, right? Then I extrude the part out. Alternate. Something like that, roughly.
Oh.
Okay. Then it seems like there's like some layer over here. Then I just select this part, then I move bit by bit. Okay. Not like cream already. Just move up and down, make it inconsistent. But I need a lot of patience. I need to like move bit by bit. That.
Can you join faces?
Join faces.
Yeah, so if like one part is subdivided too many times, then I want it to become just one face again.
I don't think you can undo the subdivision. Yeah, so it's quite, unless you actually subdivide the specific area. Yeah, then that's how it's made. Then after that, I just import the puzzle shape, then I slice the whole thing through. That's it. Yeah, so once I'm done with it, I just click finish form. Oh, some errors. Yeah.
Oh, pretty cool. Ayana, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm just showing you a more advanced technique. Okay, if you want, I can show it to you when we reopen, or if you want. Okay, freeform is a bit, it takes some time to get used to because it's quite complicated.
Yeah, and it's viewing in 3D also.
Yeah, it's really in 3D. Yeah, it's really like clay. Okay, I think you did very well today with the vases. Okay, this one is maybe the next few steps. Then we can try to make fake food. Actually can, I'm thinking of that also. But this freeform one,
Ayana, you wanted to say something? I saw you unmuted yourself.
No, not really.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't really have any questions, then I think we'll end this session soon. If you want to print your vases, you can Kenneth, do you want her to email you or like wait until the stock reopens or?
Okay, Ayana, you can take your time to make your vase look cool, work on it. Then whenever you're ready, you can just send it to us, or hope we can reopen in a week's time, then we can start printing it. Okay?
Yeah. So you can still play around in Fusion, and then if you have any questions, you can also ask on ask through the review room chat or email us, that's fine too, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think we will end this session.
Income, any question? No have.
Actually, wait, okay, I got one more question. I missed the part where you made the cream. Sorry, I was trying to edit my phone.
The part where I make the what? The cream.
Yeah, the cream. So the part where it sticks out on top of the donut. You do it.
Part where it sticks out on top of the donut. Okay, wait, I'll show you again. Let me try. Okay, that's roughly now. Something like that. Okay, I use this function here called extrude. Okay, if I click on this, any of the faces, right, I go to modify, and if I hold the alternate button, I can extrude out like that. So if I want to make extensions to my model, I can do this. Okay, so what I did for the cream, right, is actually I selected the entire face like that. That's for an example. Then I extruded it out. I hold alternate, I extrude out. Something like that. And then I can move it down, or I can move it up a bit. Then I select this face, I can move it down like that. Yeah, but it will look nice if you actually select all the faces on the top. Then you move some up, some down, some big, some small. So there's some sense of realism. If not, the donut will look like it's very mechanical. So what I do is I select this part here and then I alternate out like that.
Oh, what's the alternate do? Makes it
Alternate is to extrude out the face, make extrusions. So if I click on, if I call alternate, I do out like that, right? So it creates extrusions. If I don't hold alternate, right, I'm actually moving the face like that. So if I hold alternate, I'm actually making more subdivisions like that, more segments. Yeah. Yeah. So if I want, I will just extrude another time if I want.
But how come when you extrude, it's a radial extrusion? It's not moving in one direction.
Oh, because I select this plane here to radial extrude. If I go in the one direction, it will extrude like that.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. This part takes a bit of getting used to.
Yeah. But cool.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of Fusion 360. You can do everything. That's why it's called Fusion. Actually, the thing that can really do a lot of stuff is actually Blender.
Yeah, I heard about Blender.
It's just that you want to do a workshop, it's not impossible. It's just that the specs for the systems need to be quite high if you're doing this kind of modeling. If you don't have like a good graphic card or enough RAM, right, you can kiss the workshop goodbye already. So Fusion is quite forgiving in that sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's how it is. Actually, I use other software. I use Markbox also like that, but that one is higher level.
That's for like modeling characters and all, is it?
Yeah, that's for modeling characters.
Well, you should show us one day. I'll watch.
Okay, actually, wait. Let me go and take it and show you guys. Just finish printing it.
Oh, cool.
Modeling characters is next level.
Kenneth is very into characters.
Yeah, he
All
sounds
the
so
anime
excited
stuff.
bringing his print.
I don't know if you can see, but let me.
You stop the screen share first.
Turn off my background first. Yeah, this one.
Whoa, you modeled that?
Yeah, I modeled this, then I copied this.
What software do you use?
Mudbox.
How is that? Can you type in the chat?
MUDBY.
MUBDY.
Mudbox.
Oh, Mudbox. Okay.